Let's talk some toys in here.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Today is the Man Child. Okay, so today we're going to go over the new Masters of the Universe, new Eternia, Masterverse, Wave 11 Trapjaw figure. Yeah, I gotta say, man, just looking at this figure and package, what you can see in the new cut or limited window, this is one of the best Trapjaws I've seen yet, aside the classics, maybe even a little better. So now, of course, I did a lineup of the Wave 11 Masterverse figures, teases, a show that, so I appreciate you guys watching the video. These are floating around on eBay and some various sellers. Kind of, you get them in hand, they don't want you really reviewing them yet. Now, eBay to me is a different story. I don't know where they're coming from, and if I buy them on there, I mean, I'm going to review them, just like some other channels already are. But, yeah, they're out there. I don't think they're supposed to officially ship like November or maybe even early next year. Anyway, he looks great. So, yeah, we have some new packaging. See the art on there. I think the packaging's cool. It's neat to see that change. But for a Min on Car collector, personally with me, I think I'd rather see the open window. Now, I do have two of these. So one I'm going to leave out, and this one I'll leave with this window and art. But aside that, it is cool seeing a new box, and that art is incredible on the front. Here's a quick look at the images on the back of the box. Now we can really see Trapjaw from head to toe. Yeah, just looking incredible. Look at that arm. Can't wait to get him out. So he comes with a bunch of different accessories, which is cool. And a new jaw piece, which not only can you use as a claw, but I believe you can take this jaw, the lower jaw piece, off this claw and switch it out with the primary jaw under the face. And here's a closer look at this new Trapjaw's bio. You want to pause and read that. And here's a quick look at all four figures, part of the Wave 11 series. And here's some more art on the right-hand side of the box, looking in from that window, like really cool. So you have Trapjaw over there with his leg up on a rock. Looks like he has a sword in hand and a hook, and then, of course, a close-up of his face with that regular jaw on. And take a look on the left-hand side of the box. Once again, looking from the window. Check out that art. So we have Castle Grayskull, right? We even have the Talon Fighter over here. That's pretty neat. And of course, this was a piece of art with Trapjaw from the front. But taking a closer look at this, we have the new Eternia Triclops and the Battle Armored He-Man fighting it out. And I know there's a Battle Armored He-Man coming out. I believe he's going to be part of the Revolution cartoon, and there's also a new Triclops coming out as well. I think they're going to be part of Wave 12 for the new Eternia line. Okay, and here's a quick look around with the new Trapjaw and all those accessories at a box. Like, what an awesome Trapjaw. I mean, this is, yeah, next best thing next to the classics, I'd say. I mean, and everything you can want in a Trapjaw as far as a Masterverse figure and those aesthetics. Just the arm, the head, yeah, once again, the accessories, the look, absolutely incredible. I love it. So real quick, this is the inner card, the cardboard card that holds the bubble that Trapjaw is in as part of that box. You can see now the accessories, and I already damaged it. But this is where the weapons and accessories are in a little plastic bag held inside here. They're not in the bubble. So it's something interesting to note. And check this out. They actually show like images of Trapjaw himself. These are all your accessories, your parts, your hooks. And it looks like the arm, and yeah, obviously that all four can attach into his mechanical arm. And now taking a closer look at Trapjaw and the head sculpt, look at that. Yeah, just awesome. Look at the eyes, face, the skin color, just the wash on the skin. He's got that little, yeah, the typical loop hook thing on top of the helmet where, it was an action feature for a string like you would do with the Vintage or the Origins. The jaw, too, is awesome. Now, all right, so, of course, it's articulating, go down and up. It's not on a spring. It's just manual. But look at that. So he still sort of has the missing broken jaw. I don't want to say it's a tongue, where a lot of people didn't like that with the first release Masterverse one, which, of course, I'll compare. I think it looks creepy. It looks cool. I like it. As far as the articulation with the head, so we can go left to right, go down about that far, all the way up. He does have that postured neck going forward, like a lot of the Masterverse do, but it looks cool for him. Works with that helmet. Now, right off the bat, let's take a look at this jaw piece. So we know that articulates up and down. We know what that little, yeah, broken jaw or tongue piece looks like. I think it's just missing jaw, actually. But this piece, check this out. Okay, so it comes right off like that. So here's a closer look at that mechanical lower jaw. It's pretty flexible. Okay, but what you're going to do is you can actually use the claw weapon to replace that on the jaw. Now, let's bring that in first. Of course, I'll do a comparison with the weapons, but I want to take that jaw piece and try it out. Okay, so here's a quick look at one of his accessories. So now that's his basically claw that's going to snap into the mechanical arm, which we'll try in a little bit with all the weapons. But yeah, awesome sculpting. It's just painted a dark metallic gray color, which just looks like really cool. Has a little hook to go on the belt. So that's the jaw. And once again, I said it's articulated, and it doesn't. Does it spin here? I don't know if it. Maybe it does. Okay, so this jaw piece comes off. That's the point I'm getting at. I don't know if it... No, it doesn't spin here. We'll just spin in the arm. But you can see that can separate. And here's that lower jaw piece. And it's going to go on to the face. And going back to the face or the helmet, right? So you just, of course, put it one direction. These pieces, the little tabs are just going to snap right into the sides of the helmet like the jaw. And look at that. Now you got another, just a whole different jaw design. It's like Frankenstein now. Look, articulated. That too looks creepy. You can go all the way up to the nose like that, all the way down. That's an awesome accessory. And then, of course, going back to the weapon, you can put that lower jaw part on this if you wanted to have something different. But, of course, the other piece looks better, but it is possible. So moving back to the head, and, of course, I put the regular jaw piece on. So let's pop the head off the ball peg. So it's a typical Masterverse ball peg, which will be cool. We'll try other heads on later. All right, now putting the head back on, moving down to the chest and butt. So, yeah, look at that whole mechanical setup. That is really cool looking. Now, as far as this shoulder piece, this armor piece that supports this mechanical arm, as it always did with Trapjaw, on this chest and body, it's actually all part of sculpt. This does not come off. You can see that. I wasn't sure at first. Okay, there's the front and the back. Now, let's take a close look at that arm for a second. Of course, we'll put accessories on a little bit, but look at that. Incredible, as I already said. As far as the articulation, so it can go up only about that far, and of course down to the body, go forward and back, and yeah, you're only going to go out about that far. I mean, it's designed more to be straight and go forward. You know, you can bend, so this can bend at the elbow, go up into the face, and things like that. And this too, doesn't seem like it wants to. I thought maybe it would pop out. It looks like there's a giant peg or something in there, but yeah, without heating it, I wouldn't say it's meant to come out. Possibly, but I'm just going to leave it. But check out all the detail. Awesome. Got like a little piston piece here. Yeah, going down. So once again, we know you can bend at the elbow here, and it can spin as well, this whole piece. But look at the details. Just awesome. And then moving back over to this mechanical strap support that, yeah, I guess supports this half of armor that would support this mechanical arm for Trapjaw. Now, this is sort of its own piece. It is glued to this. You can see that if you want to take it off, you could. See, it slides down, but it is glued. Now, flipping it around, it's also pegged to this piece of that armored. And it does have a little area back here for his sword. We'll take a closer look at this soon, but this is his little sword or knife. So check that out. I can go down in that little sword holder there. So moving over to the left side, of course, he has a typical Trapjaw arm. Has like the Masterverse aesthetics. Yeah, got some, cool circuitry going there up top. Has like this elbow piece. It's all part of sculpt. Same thing with the forearm bracer guard. It's just real mechanical looking, but as far as the articulation, go up, down. Let's see, go forward and back. This figure's really tight. The bicep swivel can bend all the way up the elbow there. And, okay, yeah, so it's all part of sculpt, I said. And then Trapjaw comes with one semi-closed weapon gripping hand. That can spin, go in and out, on a hinge joint. Then also has like a little piece of armor sculpted onto the back of the hand there. So moving back down to the waist and butt, so we already talked all about this armor. Now, of course, he can spin a little bit at the ab crunch there. He can only go down about that far and back, not much. Kind of really hindered by this plate. Has that cool Trapjaw utility belt. Once again, you could put the weapons on. We'll try that in a little bit. Yeah, I love just the sculpting on it too. The two different colors. It's almost looks like it was painted gold, but then green over it or something, or maybe green with a gold wash. You can see that. I love the skull, the design. Yeah, awesome. You can see where it pops apart. So it's going to snap off like this. And there's a closer look with that utility belt off the body. So leaving that utility belt off, we know we can spin at the waist. And as I said, he has just a typical new Eternia style, the belt and loincloth. Kind of seen on like Viking He-Man, figures like that. So there's two different colors. The loincloth is a darker purple, obviously. Just a metallic color. It's real soft here. It's the front and the back. It's pretty cool. Moving down at the legs, so he can go all the way out with a split. As far as articulation, he can kick forward, go back about that far. Has that thigh cut in there. Can also spin a little bit up inside the hips. Yeah, it just has all that typical or iconic trap jaw leg design, you know, with these plates here up on the thigh. But everything's all part of sculpt. Nothing comes off, you know, where the black, all this black armor meets into the blue body. So, and then of course you can bend at the knees, right? And it has these, cool boots, these knee protectors. But once again, it's all part of the boot. You can spin at the boot. And I'm assuming if you wanted to now, you can heat with these pegs, take them off and put regular He-Man boots or something. If you want to try something different for customization. Yeah, once again, cool design. Both boots, legs are exactly the same. And then he just has a typical, this cool looking lower foot part in the boot. And that can go up and down and rock side to side. So moving on, taking a closer look at Trapjaw's weapons. So of course he comes with that iconic blaster that looks very close to the classics. Something similar to that. Of course, it's going to go into that mechanical arm, so he does get that. Really good detail. Even a little vents are painted in here. Then he comes with a new style hook, like really big looking. Almost looks like it would have some type of mechanics in it. Doesn't move or nothing. Of course, it will spin once it's on the arm. Has a clip for the utility belt. Then he also comes with a small sword, as I already shown, that would go on the back. So not only can he hold it in his left hand, but it can also plug into that mechanical arm as well. And then, of course, once again, here's that jaw piece that we already switched out with his jaw, and it can go on an arm as well. All right, first let's plug a blaster in. So it's looks like a different peg than a Masterverse or Classics. From what I can see, we'll try those out, but just gonna plug in like this, and it's kind of tight. Push it all the way in. All right, and here's a look with his blaster and his arm going forward. Check that out. Yeah, it looks awesome. I had to put him on a figure stand because it keeps falling with his weight, but look at that. Okay, now I'm going to put this sword in the other hand. Now leaving the blaster on, of course, showing the sword that he can hold that weapon in that hand. Take a look at that. So, of course, I took the blaster off, and we're just going to use that little clip on the utility belt. It's just going to hang on like that. And now taking that knife out of the hand, let's push that into the mechanical arm. See how that fits? Now here's a look with Trapjaw with that little sword and his mechanical arm. Pretty cool. Of course, we have the gun on the belt. And then, of course, we know if you don't want to use a sword in the hand or on the mechanical arm, it can go back here, which I already showed. Okay, next let's bring the hook in, put it on a mechanical arm. Now here's a look with Trapjaw with the hook on that mechanical arm in a raised position, ready to strike. Of course, we have the blaster on the utility belt and the knife in the little holder in the back. And now taking that hook out of that mechanical arm, we're going to put that also on the utility belt as well, like the blaster. Now I'm going to finally bring in this jaw accessory. Now here's a look with, of course, the jaw on that mechanical arm. We have the blaster on the utility belt in the back, got the sword on the back, or we can put it in the hand, which we already tried, and the hook on the back. And it doesn't matter. We can put the hook on the arm. This big jaw piece can also go on the back. So, right, want to plug that and take the blaster out for a second. You can see this can also hang as well. Close the jaw up like this. Now for one last weapon setup or look. So I just put the knife back in the mechanical hand. I did put the claw weapon in this hand, so he's holding it on a little peg. So if you wanted to use it like that type of weapon, you could. Yeah, we got the blaster on this side, and of course the claw on this side of the utility belt. So it's really cool that there's a place for everything for this Trapjaw, whether it's on the utility belt, in his hand, in his mechanical arm, or on the back where the sword goes. And you can even take something like this and just plug it on the back. It should hang there as well if you wanted to. So moving on to a little bit of comparisons and mixing and matching of parts. So of course we have our new Eternia Masterverse Trapjaw against our Revelation Masterverse Trapjaw. I don't have his utility belt on. It's put away. I had the original that kind of cloak setup on him originally, but I just took it off for the comparisons. Now, of course, now we know the hands come out with the different colors. We're not going to use that. So I guess the biggest points of interest with these two is, well, first the weapon. So here's what I want to show you. So once again, I'm going to pop the peg off that Trapjaw and then take, right, this blaster and peg off this Trapjaw, and you can see, yeah, they're not going to work. You're not going to put any of the accessories on this Revelation Trapjaw because it had a backwards peg setup, you know, with the weapons, where this one has a larger one. So yeah, that's out. Of course, you can't change the arms out that I'm aware of without some customization, pulling the pegs out. We know that these big plates don't come apart. So next up, of course, is the head swapping. I think that's the most important part a lot of people want to see. So of course, there's our new Eternia trap jaw. Much better design, I think, with the head and the lower jaw missing. And this will be our Revelation trap jaw. It's a cool looking head, but once again, it just something looked funny with that the tongue and teeth when the jaw was down, was up. It looked pretty cool. But let's switch heads around, see what that looks like. Okay, and here's a look with that new Eternia head on the Revelation Trapjaw body. And I do have his clan attire set up because it's unique. You know, now I have this Trapjaw. I'm not going to use the regular look on this one. This is different. But yeah, that head looks really cool on this figure now. So of course we have our typical blaster, and as we know, we can't change it to weapons and really do much else with them. We could put this green utility belt on him. It looks very similar to what he had, a little different. I'm not going to waste time with that, but I think the head's the most important part. Yeah, it looks much better though. It looks cool and with the jaw down, and it does articulate well. Same ball peg. Now here's the same setup. I just changed that lower clamping tool jaw piece on the lower jaw with this head on that body. So it looks pretty cool because now it matches this gun for the most part, at least the lower end. And now moving back to the new Eternia Trapjaw body. Of course, I put the Revelation head on that body. For some reason, you had both figures and you like this head better, but this design. I didn't mind this head. I liked it. Again, it looks wacky with the jaw all the way down. I mean, you could cut the tongue out if you wanted to. It doesn't bother me, but check that out. Articulates well. And then I also tried that Revelation clan attire on the new Eternia Trapjaw body. Put this regular Trapjaw head on. Of course, that mechanical piece that comes off that claw tool that will go on the arm. And everything worked pretty cool, and it doesn't look bad. I did have to stretch this lower shirt over this arm. You know, I had a hard time doing it, but it did work. But if you like this setup, there it is. And, yeah, with this head, too. Head's a little tight with this collar, but it still does work. You can articulate it okay. Now, here's the same setup. I just put his regular jaw on. I put the jaw tool on the mechanical arm and then the sword in hand. Then I just put the Revelation head on this body with that clan attire setup and left everything the same. But yeah, it must be something a little different with this body because I can sort of articulate the head, but I can't get the jaw to go down, down. It stays up. And here's a close look between a Revelation Trapjaw and new Eternia Trapjaw. Just as far as the, I want to say buck and ab design. I mean, obviously we know the loincloth and belt is different. Of course, the arm, the arms, everything we went over is completely different. As far as how wide they are, I don't know, they kind of look similar, but he does look a little wider in the chest and up in the neck. But yeah, definitely, yeah, even, okay, the neck is wider. He's really skinny to cut. It's a big cut out of this arm where this isn't cut as bad, but even the arm aesthetics are a little bit different. You can see that. Of course, the mechanical arm is real different. There's the front and the back. If anybody's curious, just the overall design. Yeah, even this sculpting's a little different. Much wider back here than this figure. Okay, for next comparisons, let's bring in our Origins first release Trapjaw. Of course, against our new Eternia Trapjaw. Now, I know the Origins Trapjaw, the neck design was different. So I'm going to pop the head off for a minute just to show people aren't familiar. Yeah, it had a raised, like, peg piece and these little tabs in the head, which was unique for any head in the Origins. So taking a look at the Masterverse body, of course, with the head off, and here's our Origins head off the Origins body. Just for example, put an Origins head on this Masterverse body. Yeah, see, it won't even go down because of those tabs. You'd have to modify them, take these out or something if you wanted to put this Origins head on this body for some reason. But I know that was an issue. And then going back to the Origins with that raised peg, see, it would be cool to have this head on. But same thing, you can push it down. You can put it let me see. Okay, as far as it's going to go, but see that raised peg? So it's a different design ahead. You'd have to, like, open that up or something to get this down over the body. And once you do that, I don't think it's going to articulate. That will look cool though on this Origins Trapjaw body. It's a shame they went that route. All right, so I did push it down a little more. The Masterverse head on the Origins body did do a click. It is tight, does move. So it does fit, but you still see that gap in the back and the side. See what I'm talking about, but it does articulate okay, and the jaw does go down. So I guess it could work on that body. So keeping the Masterverse head on the Origins body for now. I want to try out the weapons, of course, and the Origins mechanical arm, and they kind of do work. You could push them in. They don't go all the way in. You'd have to drill these back or something, modify it. But yeah, it can work. There's a hook, for example. It does spin. Here's a look at the knife on that mechanical arm. That you got to force that in a little bit, open this up, but it can work. And then here's a look at that claw on the Origin's arm. And now that blaster. And going back to the Masterverse body with the original head on, and for some reason I want you to use the Origin weapons, see they're not going to fit, they're too loose. So you're actually forcing his weapons in the Origin's arms I showed you. You might have to heat it up. I mean, I did force it, they do work, but yeah, these ones are not going to work. And here's a quick look at comparison with the new Eternia Trapjaw against the Classics original Trapjaw I still have in card. So if you're not familiar with, what he looks like, that's these two together. And for whatever reason, if you had a Classics and card out and you got the Masterverse Trapjaw, you want to mix some parts around. So the question would be, does his accessories fit this Trapjaw's gun? Now, if you pull this one out, I do have, this is a Roboto accessory that came from the spare Classics pack. That's the same exact peg as this Trapjaw in card here. So I'm going to kind of answer the question right now because I don't have a loose Trapjaw, obviously. Yeah, that will fit. So they have stubbier pegs, but the Roboto or this Trapjaw's accessory Classics will fit this Masterverse arm. And I'm assuming vice versa with his weapons onto that Trapjaw or the Roboto. And speaking of more Classics, so here's a comparison once again with a new Eternia Trapjaw against the Super 7 mini comic book Classics Trapjaw, which is pretty cool. Now, the weapons, his weapon was a little different too than the other Classics I just showed. They changed the pegs around. So I'm not sure if it's going to fit this Trapjaw. Let me see. So I'll take his gun, for example. And now you see that? That mini comic Trapjaw, the Classics one, it's too loose. How about the Masterverse one? You might be able to, similar to the Classics. Yeah, you can sort of force the weapons in his hand. Open up this opening. And they could probably work on this Trapjaw if you had them. But it's interesting that they changed the pegs around on the different Trapjaws. And while we're on the topic, here's a quick look at the new fan favorite Trapjaw, the re-release mini comic Trapjaw. Doesn't look any different to me than the first release Trapjaw. Once I can, do a review, I'll compare them. But that's sort of where the inspiration came from as far as the Classics. And of course, this figure came from the original mini comic to what Trapjaw looked like before we got that iconic color in the vintage line as kids. And as far as head swaps, the question is, the Masterverse head work on the Classics? Now this head, yeah, I can't get it off this body. And I believe that these Super 7 ones with ball pegs were a little different. I've seen that in a couple of the figures, and they're really fragile too. So what I did is I brought in my typical Classic Skeletor and just put the Masterverse, this new Trapjaw head on that body. Here's a cool custom right there. It does work, but it's not onto, it doesn't pop on real tight, so it can fall off. But for the most part, you can push it down and it can spin all around, move, do the whole deal. So if you had a Classics Trapjaw, once again, you want to use this head, it probably would work because this Skeletor is the same exact ball peg as that Classics Trapjaw I have in card. Okay, so that's my overall review on the new Master Universe, new Eternia Trapjaw figure. I think he's perfect. I really don't have any complaints. I like everything about him. He's, really up there with the Classics, if not a little better. I mean, from mine's in card, of course, but what I know about Classics, this particular Trapjaw just, he really competes against them. I mean, the accessories, the articulation, the look, color. I love the jaw, the head sculpt, that knife. I mean, it just had this little claw piece can interchange with the mouth, vice versa. And as I showed you, can pretty much use, some of these parts are interchangeable between the Classics and the Origins. Some things you got to mix around or customize them, but for the most part, they will work. But yeah, really just great job. I could not be happier, and I can't wait to see Triclops, because he's just always, to me, goes hand in hand with Trapjaw. Going all the way back to the vintage. What a great figure. So these are supposed to be coming out anywhere between, supposed to be like November into early next year. So hopefully you guys can find these in retail, or if you see pre-orders show up soon, like on Big Bad Toy Store, I'd go for it. This is a must-have figure for just the Masterverse line. I appreciate everybody watching, and until next time, take care.